Hello, I am going to show you how I repair my broken fingernails. They are natural and I don't like putting gel or anything on them, so I don't go to the salon to repair them. I glue them. So I'm going to kind of show you how I do that. This one broke the other day and right here, and even though it's not perfect, it looks pretty doggone good. It broke from here all the way to here. It like just snapped in half. So I'm going to show you what I did to fix it on my mannequin hand. She's missing a nail. So I just put a little scratch here to simulate a break. Obviously, the first thing you want to do is clean your fingernail with non 100% acetone nail polish remover. I never use 100% acetone. I know a lot of people do. It weakens your nails, especially if you're prone to peeling and all that, and you don't have super strong nails. Don't use 100% acetone. So I got that all cleaned off. The next thing I do is I turn my hand over and I actually use super glue, real super glue. The nail glue just isn't always strong enough. I do use nail glue, but I use super glue to glue the underside. So I just take a little orange stick, and the reason I do this is because if you squirt it too fast or too hard, you're gonna ooze it all over your printer. So then I can guide it under there and glue that crack from the underside. Sometimes you use a little bit more, and try to do it as thin as possible. When it's right there where it comes out of your fingertip, it'll feel weird. Sometimes you pick at it. Try not to do that. Let it just heal your nail. Make sure you wipe the tip off and then put it in a standing up position, like in a little cup or something, until the nozzle is good and dry. So then turn your hand over, and there's so many products out there for using to help strengthen your nail for a fix. This is my favorite. I'm just going to show you what I use. This super nail, you can get this at Walmart. They're these little woven fiber little tear off things. You find one that fits your finger size and you just tear it off like that, and then you'll peel it off of here. I'll do that when I'm ready. This is my absolute favorite. Main reason, I don't buff this. I did not buff this after I put the glue on and put this little guy on. I put glue over it, I let it dry, and I painted right over it. Buffing it makes what you put on it weaker. So I don't like to do that. You can find these, I bought these thicker ones. This is stronger than the other stuff, but it's also a lot thicker, and so you have to buff. And I just feel like, and it doesn't get it nice and smooth. It's always that thick nail, and I don't like that. If you like that, that's fine. You can buy that stuff, but I don't like it. So I'm going to size up my finger with one of these, and if you have one that's too big, let's say that this is too wide for my nail, you can always just cut it down here. Then I like this Kiss nail glue. Buy whatever nail glue you want, but the secret is to buy the glue that has the brush, because you can put it on really thin. And let's see if I can get that in a better position there. She looks funny with that nail missing. And then I go over the entire nail, the whole nail. Nice and thin, nice and thin. My entire nail, all the way to the cuticle, but above the cuticle. I do pay attention to the side of where that crack was. And then if I get any on my finger, I take a clean orange stick and I just scrape it off right away with the orange stick. Don't use a Q-tip because you'll get the strands from the cotton stuck onto your finger. So just kind of do that. I let that dry, and then I actually put on a second coat, really, really, really super thin. Then when that is still wet, I'll actually put that on now. Really, really, really thin. And notice I did the tip. Then when that's still, while that's still wet, I take my little silk and I peel it off of this. And then I take tweezers, and you can see how flexible it is. So while I was off camera, it was kind of being wonky. And then pay attention to that edge and get it right to that edge, right over your entire nail. Don't cut this and only do over the part that is broken. Do your entire fingernail. And then either with the orange stick, or you can see how you kind of use my tweezers, but make sure you smooth it down all the way down. And it's okay if it's up a little bit in some areas, because we're going to put another layer of glue on it. And then we're going to cut off the excess. And let's see, I'm a lefty here, and I put this in a position where I need to use my right hand. And I do lift it up a little because I don't want it hanging off the tip of my fingernail. So if it is recessed off of the tip of your fingernail, just a tiny smidge like that is, just the very, very, very tip of this is exposed, that's okay. I kind of get under it just to make sure that on the other side, so it's hanging off just a little bit on there. So I would want to trim that off ever so a little bit. And even if you trimmed off a little bit extra, that's okay, because this is the side that is not broken, but you want it as close to the edge as possible without going over the edge, and clip it off of the edge if it's on the edge. Then right away we take our glue with the brush again, and you do at least one decent coat, but not thick. That's the whole point of me doing it this way, because then I don't buff this. Just leave it. And it might look a little bumpy, but it's not going to look like when you put all that other stuff on it. And then this right here wants to lift up. So then we just push it down. And then I just kind of keep doing that a little bit. That also helps smooth out. We put the glue on a little bit thicker this time, but still staying nice and even. That's the important thing. A really, really, really even coat. And now I can see that crack. Now, I'm going to let this totally dry. You're going to let this completely dry. I generally let it dry for a good half hour or more. I want the nail to feel warm. And that means all that glue and everything is completely dry. You know, when you do your nails and the polish feels kind of cool yet, you know it's still kind of damp. Same thing with this. And then I just keep smoothing it. And then I'm going to let that dry. And so when it's completely dry, then I'll come back and we'll paint it. Okay, so this is dry now. Totally dry. One thing that I didn't discuss because it wasn't on here is when you crack it and it's like lifted and you can't get it to sit perfectly like that, and you glue it, you may want to buff your nail before you put this on. So you may have to glue it and then buff it even and then glue it again and then put this on. But this was just a nice, easy little perfect break. So there was no gluing and buffing. But if you're gonna buff, don't do it after you put this on. Buff it before. Get it as even as you can, then put this on. And then now this is a fake nail, so you can see the lines, but I'm telling you, if I buff it, it's just gonna remove this away. So after I put this one on here, I did not buff it, I just painted it. So the thing when you have a cracked nail and a fix is you can see it, I can see the imperfections, I can feel them, but then I use a darker, thicker polish until it's going to grow out and I can clip it. So then I would prime it with 2 coats of base coat. This is my favorite, the Sally Hansen Triple Strong. This is my favorite. So I just am going to go 2 coats, and then that might even fill in on this nail, fill in nice and thick. I do 2 coats of this, cap it off. So I'll come back when that dries. Okay, now that that's dry, we're going to put our coat of polish. And again, you can see this has lifted a little, but again, this is a fake nail. So you would not see that on your real nail. And down here, if you don't like that, you can buff it, but it's gonna pull up. So to save your nail. So it's not gonna look perfect. This is not a professional thing at all. But the professionals put all that junk on your nails. This will peel off once your break is fixed. So then, to help kind of hide that, I use as dark as possible. I mean, I have this pink on, but then I have all these designs on. So again, it's so busy, you can't see that break or the fix. So I like stamping polish because it's thicker and opaque. So I just got this red. This is the first time I'm using this one. So and you can put it on kind of thick. And get the sides. And wherever it's a little uneven, just kind of paint in there. Get the tip good. Get the sides good. And I got a little on the thinner. So I would do a second coat on that and then a top coat, but that looks pretty good. Let's see if I can turn the hand a little. So now where I saw where it was really thick there, the nail polish has hidden it. So then when that dries, I would put a top coat on. I think it's dry enough actually. And you can use this, my favorite, this smudge free. Oh, I just smudged it. There we go. Then you use this smudge free top coat. Obviously, if that was my finger and I smudged it, I would have taken the polish off and redid it. That looks pretty darn good, even for it being on a fake nail. So there you go, saved your nail. Now, when this grows out, like this one, you can see my right thumb is shorter than my left thumb because the same thing happened, but it cracked way down here. So I fixed it, and when the crack got up to here, I clipped it. And then of course this one broke. So when that one grows out, I'll clip it and we'll be good. Thanks for watching.